Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa Ora Karuna Swarupaya, Hare Krishna Prasayate. Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa Ora Karuna Swarupaya, Hare Krishna Prasayate. Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine. Ora Karuna Swapaya Radha Krishna Premnayate.
Haribol, namaste.
Haribol. Morning everyone. So let us continue our study program, which has been going for quite a while. So we must completely understand the absolute nature of our true identity and the position of the Supreme Person, the goal of life, and where we can find lasting happiness in this absolute realm that is transcendental, which is Lord Krishna's eternal pastimes in loving devotional service, ongoing, and we are being invited to enter that world through coming in contact with the confidential loving servant of the Supreme Person, the bona fide spiritual master, who is a resident of Vrindavan, and also guided by the instructing spiritual master coming in the long line of spiritual masters, all made servants of Radha and Krishna. And Lord Krishna desires that we love him, that we should be focusing and working in our everyday activities and be under the influence of the transcendental world of loving devotional service under the guidance of his loving servants. So the living entity, as we've been traveling in this universe for so long, who made this material world, this material dimension, our world. We've been here for so long, and due to not really understanding, and even though we come in contact to listen, to hear, and know about this wisdom and the eternal world of devotional service, still majority of us are just not really getting into applying it in our lives, living it. And time is moving so fast, and the body, this field of activity that we are in, is very temporary, and under the influence of time, sooner or later, inevitably we will face being separated from all this material energy when we leave this body. And if we don't succeed, we come back again in this cycle of birth and death. And now is the opportunity, having this human form of life, to be very intelligent, that instead of trying to focus so much in trying to hold on which things that never we can hold on, this material energy which is separate from us. And it is manifested in different forms, either in the body of a beautiful, that form can be temporarily structured in different forms. A new wife, a new girlfriend, a new car, a new place. People look at the sunset, the sunrise, they go to places that are seemingly not really hellish, but they can experience this feeling of relief temporarily of the body. But even though they are there, still there's so much lacking. And what is that lacking? It is the emptiness of the heart, because the direction to find fulfillment is in the wrong direction. It's not about loving the Supreme Person, love for God, engaging in His service, but rather focusing on these temporary forms. And we have become so conditioned, and we're not aware anymore that the time that is being given to us, this body, is an opportunity for us to be focused, to be able to achieve what is pleasing to the Supreme Person, to be able to embrace Him, love Him. And I'll read here the guidance from Rupa Goswami, so we can appreciate how important it is to be able to have this transcendental opportunity while traveling in this miserable temporary world, while engaging in so many activities that won't last. Meaning, it will end. So, why focus so much on something that will be taken away from us anyway? Either you leave this body or it gets taken away from you, you know. So, it's a futile attempt to search for fulfillment and security and eternal stability or foundation in this wrong direction of materialism. When we identify ourselves as this body, and not only that, we want to dominate material nature, and then we end up very frustrated. Here we are being advised so we can have an awareness of how wonderful, how fortunate we are to come in contact with Lord Krsna, with the holy names. The rareness of pure devotional service. In the preliminary phase of spiritual life, there are different kinds of austerities, penances, and similar process for attaining self-realization. However, even if an executor of this process is without any material desire, he still cannot achieve devotional service. And aspiring by oneself alone to achieve devotional service is also not very hopeful, because Krishna does not agree to award devotional service to merely anyone. Krishna can easily offer a person material happiness or even liberation, but he does not agree to very easily to award a person engagement in his devotional service. Devotional service can in fact be attained only through the mercy of a pure devotee. So the key in spiritual practice to achieve focus in our meditation, wherein we're offering our life, our whole being in this focus, in this trust, in this work to do what is pleasing to the Supreme Person, hearing is very important. And hearing comes from listening and associating with the confidential loving servants of the Supreme Person. So we are advised to hear, to glorify the Supreme Person. So let us hear the narration of Lord Vyasadev's, these Vedas, the teachings of Lord Krishna and his pastimes, which was translated by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami into English, so we can have a grasp and understanding. Killing of the demon Pralambasura. After extinguishing the devastating fire, Krishna, surrounded by relatives and friends, cows, calves, and bulls, and glorified by their singing, again entered Vrindavan, which is full of cows. While Krishna and Balaram were enjoying life in Vrindavan, in the midst of cowherd boys and girls, the season gradually changed to summer. The summer season in India is not very much welcome because of the excessive heat. But in Vrindavan, everyone was pleased because summer there appeared just like spring. This was possible only because Lord Krishna and Balaram is there. In Vrindavan, there are many falls in which are always pouring water, and the sound is so sweet that it covers the sound of the crickets. And because water flows all over, the forest always looks very green and beautiful. Vrindavan. The inhabitants of Vrindavan were never disturbed by the scorching heat of the sun or the high summer temperatures. The lakes of Vrindavan are surrounded by green grasses and various kinds of lotus bloom. Lotus bloom there such as Kalhara, Kanjatpala. And the air blowing in Vrindavan carries the aromatic pollen of those lotus flowers. When the particles of water from the waves of Jamuna, the lakes and the waterfall touch the bodies of the inhabitants of Vrindavan, they automatically felt cooling effect. Therefore, they were practically undisturbed by the summer season. Vrindavan is such a nice place. Flowers are always blooming. There are various kinds of decorated deers. Birds are chirping, peacocks are crowing, and dancing and bees are humming. The cuckoos there sing nicely in 5 kinds of tunes. Krishna, the reservoir of pleasure, blowing his flute, accompanied by his elder brother Balaram and other cowherd boys and cows, entered the beautiful forest of Vrindavan. To enjoy the atmosphere, they walk into the midst of newly grown leaves of trees whose flowers resembled peacock feathers. They were garlanded by those flowers and decorated with saffron chalk. Sometimes they were dancing and singing, and sometimes wrestling with one another. While Krishna danced, some of the cowherd boys sang, and others played on flutes. Some bugled on buffalo horns and clapped their hands, praising Krishna. Dear brothers, you are dancing very nicely. Actually, all these boys were demigods descended from the higher planets to assist Krishna in his pastimes. The demigods, garbed in the dress of cowherd boys, were encouraging Krishna in his dancing, just as one artist encouraged another with praise. Up to the time, neither Balaram nor Krishna had undergone the hair-cutting ceremony. Therefore, their hair was clustered like crow's feathers. They were always playing hide-and-seek with the boys' friends or jumping or fighting with one another. Sometimes, while his friends were chanting and dancing, Krishna would praise them. "My dear friends, you are dancing and singing very nicely." The boys played on a catching ball with bell-shaped fruits and round amalaki. They played blind man's buck, challenging and touching one another. Sometimes they imitated the forest deer and various kinds of birds. They joked with one another by imitating croaking frogs, and they enjoyed swinging underneath the trees. Sometimes they would play like a king and his subjects among themselves. In this way, Balaram and Krishna, along with all their friends, played all kinds of sports and enjoyed the soothing atmosphere of Vrindavan, full of rivers, lakes, rivulets, fine trees, and excellent fruits and flowers. Once while they were engaged in their transcendental pastimes, a great demon of the name Pralambasura entered their company, desiring to kidnap both Balaram and Krishna. Although Krishna was playing the part of a cowherd boy as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he could understand everything, past, present, and future. So when Pralambasura entered their company, Krishna began to think how to kill the demon. But externally, he received him as a friend. "Oh, my dear friend," he said, "it is very good that you have come to take part in our pastimes." Krishna then called all his friends and ordered them, "Now we shall play in pairs. We shall challenge one another in pairs." With this proposal, all the boys assembled together. Some of them took the side of Krishna and some of them took the side of Balaram. And they arranged to play in duel. The defeated members of the duel fighting had to carry the victorious members on their backs. They began playing and at the same time tended the cows as they proceeded through Bandirabana forest. The party of Balaram, accompanied by Sridham and Vrishaba, came out victorious, and Krishna's party had to carry them on their backs. Through Bandirabana forest, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, defeated, had to carry Sridham on his back, and Bhadrasena carried Vrishaba. Imitating their play, Pralambasura appeared there as a cowherd boy, carried Balaram on his back. Pralambasura was the greatest of the demons, and he had calculated that Krishna was the most powerful of the cowherd boys. In order to avoid the company of Krishna, Pralambasura carried Balaram far away. The demon was undoubtedly very strong and powerful, but he was carrying Balaram, who is compared with a mountain. Therefore, he began to feel the burden, and thus he assumed his real form. When he appeared in his real feature, he was decorated with a golden helmet and an earrings and looked like a cloud with lightning carrying the moon. Balaram observed the demon's body expanding up to the limits of the clouds, his eyes dazzling with blazing fire, and his mouth flashing with sharpened teeth. At first, Balaram was surprised by the demon's appearance, and he began to wonder, how is it that all of a sudden this carrier has changed in every way? But with a clear mind, he could quickly understand that he was being carried away from his friends by a demon who intended to kill him. Immediately, he struck the head of the demon with his strong fists, just as the king of the heavenly planet strikes a mountain with his thunderbolt. Being stricken by the fist of Balaram, the demon fell down dead, just like a snake with a smashed head, and blood poured from his mouth. When the demon fell, he made a tremendous sound, and it sounded as if a great hail were falling upon being struck by the thunderbolt of King Indra. All the boys then rushed to the spot. Being astonished by the ghastly scene, they began to praise Balaram with the words, "Well done, well done." all of them began to embrace Balaram, and with great affection, thinking that he has just returned from death. And the heavenly planets he just returned from death, and they offered their blessings and congratulations. All the demigods and the heavenly planets became very satisfied and showered flowers of the transcendental body of Balaram. And they also offered their blessing and congratulation for having killed the great demon Pralambasura. Thus, as end of Bhaktivedanta purport of the 18th chapter of Krishna, killing the demon Pralambasura. So, this will be our program that we will be continuing every day to be reminded by the eternal pastimes of Lord Krishna and be focused and be purified from hearing His glories and associating with His associates through their pastimes by remembering the happiness of the devotees and Lord Krishna together. And they are inviting us to enter that world. And we are given this opportunity now to chant the holy names, to be with Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna will be the driver. He will be the one to enthuse us. He will take care that our offering, our love, becomes closer and closer, our enthusiasm to be with Him will be very focused and very close when we make this decision. From now on, I will serve and love the Supreme Person, although I know I've always fall far short, but without a doubt, His promise that He'll take care of me, as what He has stated in Bhagavad Gita, just surrender unto me and I'll protect you from anything. Just like in His pastimes, enjoying with His cowherd friends, He protects them, that His pastimes continues on, and the closeness with His devotees, with His loving servants becomes more enthused in their service, in their connection with Lord Krishna, in their meditation. And that is the opportunity that we have now because of coming in contact with Lord Krishna. Haribol, Namaste.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa Namine, Gorakaruna Sarupaya, Radha Krishna Prasthaya. Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa Namine, Gorakaruna Sarupaya, Radha Krishna Prasthaya. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayana. 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 Bhakti Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vasudeva Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya